Well, guys, not the result that San Diego Loyal wanted.
Yeah.
But then it was a pretty even back and forth game.
Yeah.
Again, the two gentlemen that you warned us about ended up getting on the score sheet, Alan.
Yep.
So,
Talking to Austin just on the way out, he said, you know, 2v1s are tough, and that's exactly what happened, you know. On that goal specifically, you know, Kyle Adams just got dusted, and you know, there's nothing much you can do about that. And unfortunately, the ball didn't go in the last couple of minutes with a good header by AC and chance over by Conway.
Nick Moon had one.
He had one, but those are two really good stops, so you really can't do much about that. What did you think about the game, Alan?
Yeah, I think Coach Landon Donovan nailed it in the post game. The pressing looked really nice. There was a lot of turnovers high on the pitch, and then they just really weren't clinical in the final third. They were a little bit wasteful. They gave the ball away. They didn't get quality looks that they probably should have earlier in the game. And that's bound to happen sometimes. And Vegas is a quality team, and they're fighting for the bottom of the playoffs. And so anytime you play a team that's hungry and is kind of on a roll, or wants to start a roll, this is what's going to happen in the USL, right? You have to show up every week and play the full 90. And again, they didn't. They had some brain farts along the way. At least this one wasn't at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But the outcome is very similar, where a couple little individual mistakes cost the team, and then you up against a goalkeeper who throws up several really, really, really nice saves, and that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yes, unfortunately, not the way it goes. Sometimes your kid ends up beating the father. So
the kid ends up being the father. Yeah, sure. That's a very Oedipus Rex type of thing. But at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. But there is next week, as Landon said on his way out and behind us. There's always next week. So for now, there is always next week. But when next week stops, that's when the issues hopefully are no longer here, and we can figure it out.
Especially in the Western Conference, very tight race so far. But thank you guys for watching this one. Don't forget to watch the full pod that we had here at Torero after I edit video. So later, guys.
All right, welcome to Two Balls and a Mic live. Two Balls Underwood with the great and powerful Alan Underwood. How are you doing, Alan?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
I am doing fantastic. It's the first time we get to do something like this here.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. This has actually been in the works since early in the season. We talked with the club. Hey, how cool would it be? It was actually inspired by the Orange and Black soccer cast that you guys did up in Orange County at the great, what is it called? Orange Park? Is that really
Championship Soccer Stadium?
Great Orange Park. So no, this was actually pretty cool that the club let us be here so early. It's cool seeing everything get set up, and we're early
Shout
birds.
out to the people that come every single day this early to set everything up. It's for you guys to come every single match day this early, set everything up, then hit up your pre-fade spot, and then come back. Props to you guys. That takes dedication, man.
Especially on a Sunday afternoon. It's a little bit warm. You have to get up early. You got to shower. Then you got to get here. You got to sweat. And then you got to be in that sweat for the remainder of the game.
Unless you go home and shower again.
It's true. You could go home and shower.
You really could, or just go into the
You like to do that a lot. You like to do that sometimes at work in the breaks when we used to get an hour break.
Okay, so
you would go home and shower.
Wouldn't you, Alan? Like if you have a training that's 8 hours, but your house is, and you have an hour break, and your house is driving distance, and you're just like, ugh, I woke up, it's a Saturday morning, I really didn't eat breakfast, go to your house, shower, brand new everything, come back fresh as it can be. Usually they'll let you out, an hour or two early, so you only get like an hour of actual intense training, I guess. But no, I like doing that a lot.
I mean, when I first started teaching, I lived a few blocks from where my apartment was, and I would go home on my lunch break, and I was only half an hour, so an hour, that's more. If you live really close, it's more than enough to get home. Don't have to bring your food. You go home, sit down, swap out some clothes, come back fresh and clean.
You think the players shower at halftime?
That's actually what we were talking about. You remember the other day we were talking about how if I played and I had a professional setup and I was a professional player, I'd go into the locker room and put on a brand new kit, take a shower just to feel fresh. And then, I think you said no. Would you do that, Alan? If you had brand new kits waiting for you?
Oh, I would swap kits. I'm sweaty and
swap kits.
I would swap kits for sure.
But showering, you get cold. You have to warm up again. And
See,
all that?
cold is That's inside though, like the muscles inside of your body. Cool them down, like put some like.
It's like starting fresh again.
It's like start. Oh yeah, you have the.
Now you have to warm up again with less time. I don't know how that works.
No, I mean
Especially
you feel reinvigorated, and it's just a cool, calm, cool sensation.
Especially with the a team talk though. You might not have time for a shower. You might just get like the fresh threads on and swap out socks.
Speaking of fresh threads,
Wow!
Wow.
What a
fresh
segue.
threads, guys.
Definitely a professional podcast here. We've been doing this for 2 years. Speaking of fresh threads, holding it just like Landon Donovan did earlier this week when I spoke to him. It very traditional. I think Hector said it like in the "This is my other." The Mexico's my other club pose with the. It was very similar.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Oh yeah, no. So Landon back in the, it's like in FIFA in FIFA like after the World Cup where Brazil lost 7-1. Every time you had Oscar as a player, the commentator default would say like, in Oscar, obviously the only player to score in that 7-1 destruction of Brazil. But every time he would touch the ball, they would always say that. But yeah, so speaking of the new threads, our good buddy, the boy Roger, who might be showing up, might be coming. We don't know who's coming. We invited people. So if he shows up, we'll give him his thank yous in person. But obviously, Merch Ops let us raffle one of these. Opportunity draw one of these new Siempre Leal kits. In person, you were talking about it. It looks different. The color is actually a little bit different than what we saw in the renderings originally, because we had seen them at the kit reveal.
I like it in person. I like the color in person. The material's obviously the same as a home and away jersey. The design is dope. Obviously, being Mexican, right, it kind of gives you a little like, a huevo. You know, it's like Siempre Leal jersey. So that's pretty dope. Alan, what do you think of the kit? Third kit, now released.
Yeah, I like it. It's an interesting color. This kind of like mint green color has been like super popular the past year or two with MLS kits. But I really like it. I think it looks fresh. I think it's going to look great on the pitch. And that's why I always say like I'll reserve my judgment till I see it on the pitch, because I think that's when some of these kits who might not be so special live and in person, when you hold them up to yourself, look great on the pitch, and you're like, okay, I dig it. So I think with this kit, I'm gonna still withhold judgment till I see it on the pitch.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think
That's
it's gonna look kind of sharp.
I think for me, the only negative I can think of this jersey is the color. About the color is it reminds me of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and it's literally
Wait, time out.
Do you like mint chocolate?
Yes.
Oh my god!
You know what I call mint chocolate chip ice cream, Alan?
Delicious.
A waste of ice cream.
Oh, it's the only one that tastes cold.
You know what? Next time you just freeze your toothpaste and just eat that.
Just go at it. Eat a Chips Ahoy. Like
yeah, like what are you
that's
doing,
not
buddy?
more for you, I guess. More for you.
We used to, like in the COVID lockdown, we bought an ice cream machine.
Wow.
And we would make mint ice cream, but with like mint Oreos.
Oh.
And like break them up and put them in the ice cream.
See, if you're into that, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
Right.
That sounds really cool.
I
but
don't know.
I don't know.
We don't.
Is that your favorite ice cream flavor?
mint chocolate chip? Yeah, and the green one, not the white one. Like for some reason, the white one feels like it tastes fake, and I know it's like probably the opposite.
Yeah.
The green one is probably not a natural. It's like food coloring. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, that like green color just like it tastes refreshing. And I would always get it with like chocolate peanut butter on top and mint chocolate chip on the bottom. So you had some like heavy on the top, and then that mint chocolate chip was just kind of like light and delicious at the end. So that was my combo from Baskin Robbins when I was a kid. On the sugar cone.
Okay. I mean, I'm very basic. I like strawberry, and then I like dulce de leche ice cream. What's dulce de leche in English?
Sweet.
Oh, hey, we have special guest number one.
Hello.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
We're gonna have the background music, and it's gonna be fine because we have top of the line mics.
And little carts.
And hopefully this still sounds great.
Which is fine, and it's part of it, right? Like, we live and we learn. We want to make sure that all of our listeners at home take count that anything that is said through these speakers is not an accurate representation of Two Balls to the Mic, Digital Media, or Alan Underwood. What are they saying?
Not too sure. I think it's saying to stop by the tent and donate $5 so you can enter the opportunity giveaway to win the Siempre Leal jersey.
100%.
$5 gets you 3 tickets
If you get somebody to subscribe in front of us, that is
5 tickets.
Yep.
So don't miss out on that opportunity. By the time you guys see this, the jersey would have been given away already. We will be posting it in our story shortly just to remind some peeps to come by. But, I mean, let's talk about the game. Let's preview this game real quick, right? Is that something we should do right now?
I mean, we have Las Vegas Lights coming down. LAFC Junior. Essentially, we've been dominating Las Vegas since the first game, essentially. We didn't win the first game with Jake Fellinson giving that super wonder goal.
What a wonder goal, though.
First goal in loyal history against is a superb goal. But since then, we've gone through water balloon fights. We've been through, crappy confetti kits. It's been a roller coaster of emotions with Las Vegas Lights. But this is a different Vegas Lights, especially at this point of the season. Alan, what's different with this Vegas Lights?
Danny Trejo is what's different about these Las Vegas Lights. He has been probably their best player. I think he's on 7 goals and 4 assists, and he's been out for part of the year, right? He was injured, so 7 goals and 4 assists on not starting every match is pretty impressive. You obviously have Cal Jennings. Danny Chrysostomo is continuing to evolve. He first came into the league from Orange County, and I think he went to UC Irvine. And when he went to LAFC/Las Vegas, he took another big step forward. He's a pretty good midfielder, good ball distribution. So the question is how many minutes does Danny Trejo get? Last night he made his MLS debut, and in his MLS debut he got an assist on the game-tying goal.
Oh, wow.
So he is pretty talented. If we see him today, he's probably not going to go the full 90, but you got to keep an eye out for him. He could be, if he doesn't start, you got to keep your eye on Cal Jennings. A previous matchup, we saw Cal Jennings was the only reason we didn't get a clean sheet, because he is a bench guy in MLS, and he did not play, I don't think, yesterday. So we may see a guy like Cal Jennings for the full match, but maybe a half or 60 minutes from Trejo, because I think he only went 30 yesterday. So those are the 3 guys you're really looking out for offensively.
So this is a dangerous squad, essentially. Could this be considered a trap game? Because looking at the standings, right? So you have San Diego Loyal in third, tied with 25 points, with New Mexico and Sacramento. One game in hand. New Mexico has there, and it's going to be played right in a couple of minutes, couple of hours. But Las Vegas sits at 11th place, as we have the great and powerful Weston coming in after absolutely yelling at the PA person for having the volume way too loud and interrupting the 2 balls in a It's fine, we'll make it work. So is this a different Vegas Lights at this point, Alan? Like, what's the deal with that?
I mean,
what's the deal with that?
Vegas is a little bit better than they have been in the past this season, but the wild part is you talked about standings. Is there's only 6 points separating 11th from 3rd, and Vegas is in 11th.
Yeah,
San Diego currently in 3rd per ESPN.
I think there's a couple other teams tied at points, right, with 25 with Loyal. Some of those points, Loyal still like a couple games in hand compared to those teams, but we have Weston here, guys.
Oh, Weston.
We have Weston. There we go.
Neil? Welcome.
Oh,
I'm so happy that you guys finally have this kind of live setup here. It looks fantastic. Background looks great. Excited to play the Lights again, man. Lots of points against them last year. Hope we keep that going. I heard from a buddy of mine, I had a source, I wasn't watching much MLS yesterday, but he said that their top scorer played 20 minutes for LAFC yesterday,
yes,
Danny Trejo. So, we got some bad luck with the 2 teams playing the Red Bulls and them having a bunch of good guys on loan. Now it works the other way in our favor, So it's cyclical, and looking forward to a win today. How are you guys feeling?
Tell us a little bit about this fine jersey, Weston. Tell us a little bit about it.
Man, I love it. I massive fan of the normal, like the Tory Green home kit, and then this is a close second for me. The mint, the patterning.
Yes.
Looks fantastic, man, and I'm stoked to see the guys rocking it today. I think it's going to look really awesome.
So usually we see Weston and the loyal capability as the ticket seller extraordinaire. Most people know you for over the phone, have no idea what your face looks like. Just know that that genuine smile comes through that phone every time we make a sale. But on game day, what do you usually do? What is Weston's task? I always see you just running around, telling people here, doing everything.
Well, first of all, I dispute that people don't know what I look like because people yell at me during game days. It's like, "Yo, it's Weston, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hi, yeah." So please say your name next time. No, but I appreciate those kind words. On game day, man, I'm all over the place. It's crazy. I was just in our ticket sales production meeting, and then I went to the game operations production meeting. So sometimes I'm manning the booth on the concourse, and I'm not watching the game. Every other time, I'm walking around talking to people, helping the supporters, watching as much of the game as possible. Helping out wherever needed, just going where I'm asked, making sure everything's running smoothly, and making sure fans are having a good time, man. That's the most important thing.
Now, when you don't get to watch most of the game, do you ever go home and just rewatch the game?
Pretty much every week, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Pretty much every game, I go back and rewatch it. First of all, because I love our commentators. Sal, Jack, and Shannon do such an awesome job. I want to hear how they did on the call, and I want to see what I missed. Right? Like, I want to see the build-up. I want to see, because I need to be able to talk intelligently about the game on the phone with people who were there and people who weren't there, right? So I always go back and rewatch.
A man that does his research.
Yeah, no, I mean, in order to be informed about what the team is like, he has to be able to tell the people what the team is like on the pitch.
Right, and the way that they're playing right now, it's like enjoyable to go back and watch some of those games because you get to see the team playing pretty well.
Could be painful sometimes though.
Yeah, I imagine it's like watching Titanic and just wishing like it doesn't sink this time, or like The Lion King is like maybe this time Mufasa doesn't die. It always happens. But it's like what happens with the games on the road. So you're like, I'm just gonna watch 90-minute game, and then you're like, okay, Loyal won that game.
Well, it's also a selfish endeavor. I'm trying to find myself on broadcast. If I'm down in the Union Bank Club behind a goal, if I'm that's always perfect. So it's a good time always, and little, like I said, research. Want to see how the team's doing when what I'm missing. So,
man,
that's great, dude.
You have a match prediction for today?
Absolutely, yeah.
3-1 Loyal.
3-1 Loyal.
3-1 Loyal. I like that. I like
so
that.
my girlfriend texted me a little bit earlier. She's like, "Hey, I just saw 2 Las Vegas Lights players down in Seaport Village," and I was like, "Did you give them a go Loyal?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah.
So stoked for her.
There you go. Get in their head.
Yeah, getting their heads a little bit, man. I'm excited for today.
I think every team is excited to come play at San Diego, right? Because you just get to go and just go to Seaport Village, go to Old Town, go do many things here in San Diego. And
bro, you can go to Chicano Park.
Oh, Chicano Park.
It's a wonderful place to learn some culture.
Yeah, you got to question their decision making if they're spending their time in Seaport Village.
Yeah, right. Like who told them that's the place to go?
Right.
It's all good. They're from Vegas. They don't know better.
They wanted to take the ferry over, probably.
That's right.
It's a beautiful day.
It is 619 Day, Father's Day.
You want to see the ocean?
So what can people look forward to today on 619 Day on Juneteenth here at Torero?
Man, today's a big day. We got a lot going on. Second day game of the season. Our day games are always popular, always popping. I'm excited about this for a number of reasons. We're doing the hat giveaway. We got a pretty full house today. More tickets out than we've had for any other game except for one, I believe, this season. So
nice.
Looking really like it's going to be a really good crowd. The Father's Day promotion that we did is going to be awesome. The TIFO that the supporters have is incredible. I'm so stoked for that. And then what we're coordinating to go along with it. And then last but not least, you'll find me on the field trying to save 100 penalty kicks after the game. Did you guys hear about this?
I did not.
Okay, so we ran the Father's Day promotion. First 100 buyers get to take a penalty shot after the game. And if you score, we just said on SD Loyal, you get a free ticket to any other game.
Wow.
SD Loyal in this instance is me. I'll be down there with my goalie gloves. I still don't know how hard I'm going to try. If a little 6-year-old steps up and just taps it, do I let him score?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I need the votes here. Do I let him score or do I say get that ish out of here?
You teach him a lesson on Father's Day, all right? You go for it.
As a Liverpool fan, I can say this. You just pull a Curious.
Yeah.
Just like
Sounds good.
Look like you're going to make the save, but then it goes through your hands.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No
As people that actually work with the youth.
As a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No mercy.
No mercy? Okay.
No mercy on the kids. Cobra Kai, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 2-1 on the votes there. It's gonna be a game time decision for me. Depends on like how nice the kid is. We'll see, or how nice their parents are. Do I want it? Do I want him? Do I want to give them a free ticket, or do I want to say, no, you got to buy it? You got to call me and buy it.
Call Weston. Where can they call you and get some tickets and some cool, awesome customer service from you?
Hey, just call the loyal line. Just call our group tickets. It's going to bounce between all of us. We're all fantastic here in the ticket sales office. We're all eager to help, and we just want to answer questions and get people out to the games. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing. This broadcast looks amazing. So
this is the first official podcast at a Loyal game, because I can't. The other ones are wrap-up shows. You know, our boys over at the official.
True.
That has to be the first official podcast on a Loyal
on
match
game
day.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, best of luck to the rest of the show, guys. This is going to be awesome. Let's get some 3 points today, okay?
Let's go.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Weston.
Thank you for sparing some minutes. Oh man, Weston's the best, guys. Weston is the best. If you guys have not met him, make sure you make your way to the Loyal shop and get to meet him in person. He's always there.
And then San Diegan, like through and through, you know, born and raised, and so that's what I like to see from this office is, you know, our own people being reflected, and let me tell you, there's nobody in that office.
Kendrick is making an appearance in the podcast.
There's nobody who just goes, you know, as hard as Weston does for the love of this team, and it's good that he's working for
and Weston plays. He lives, breathes soccer.
Yeah.
And it's great to have. There's a lot of times where teams hire people that they don't even like the sport that much. And the fact that you're hiring a legit football fan that plays it, breathes it, loves it, that just it's cherry on the top for us. Someone to hire like that.
Oh, man, I really do enjoy day games, but day games aren't really necessarily historically good for San Diego Loyal. Thinking back to that Sacramento game, thinking back to that New Mexico game last year.
Wasn't New Mexico, yeah.
News that broke this week. Oh, can I do this? You didn't hear it, but breaking news. John Kempen returning to DC United. I was going to talk to him on that media availability, but he wasn't there because that same day the tweet came down that he was been recalled in uniform. So, Austin, is that going to be his game? Last time he was here, 5-2. Is he going to see ghosts? What's going to happen?
I think it's going to be, again, I've said this already in the podcast, that this is going to be a statement game for Austin Guerrero, right? If they get the win, he manages to even get a clean sheet, that's just a morale boost and a confidence boost, and maybe we can get to see him at the level that we know he's capable of. So, again, this is a statement game if he gets to start. I don't think they start anyone else over him. Who's the backup, like the kid, from 14-year-old? Yeah. So I don't think they start. They have to go with Austin, right?
Yeah, he's been there, done that, right? This is the same kind of story we talked about when he was the quote backup to Trey Muse. Is when Trey Muse got hurt, Austin Guerrero stepped up, and it was, you know, some of the few clean sheets that we had early on in the season was Austin Guerrero. We know what he's good at, and we know that there are some flaws, but I think the team knows that too, and then they just got to play to his strengths and try to eliminate the opportunities to exploit some weaknesses. But he's the guy who's going to step in. He's going to be your 1A guy. He's started before. He's had a good run of games in the past with Loyal, and ultimately, like, professional athletes, I think, are pretty good at turning the page, right? And it's been a minute since that 5-2, and either he lets it get to him, or we know that he's, you know, strong enough to move past it and be like, that was one game, it was one performance, it was wild all around, red card, full teams. It was just a crazy game, and so you kind of have to turn the page, forget about it, move on, and make some positive memories. But I would say the same thing if he goes out and it's a 3-0 clean sheet, he has amazing saves, you turn the page because that's, again, only one game. Mm-hmm. So you celebrate it and you move on, or you are mad about it for a day and then you move on. And hopefully that's what he's able to do and put it behind him if he's out there today.
Let's not forget that game against Louisville was in that span of 10 games in how many days was it? Like
30
in a month, right? So that takes a toll on the team. So now they get a little breather. They get to rest. They get to train at home. They have the whole summer here at Terrell Stadium pretty much. So I feel like that adds to the motivation.
Yeah. The thing about Austin, too, is that something was going on because they felt the need to sign John Kempen for on a short-term loan. So what does that tell you maybe about an injury, a lingering injury, a confidence level? So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays. Because, again, right now we're saying how he plays because who else are they going to play? really don't think Koke is near being fully able to, at match fitness. But again, I'm confident with Austin being able to command the back. We talked with John Stoneman. John Stoneman. Who's John Stoneman?
John Stoneman.
Grant's alter ego, maybe his twin that plays like
John Stoneman gets the red cards. Grant Stoneman gets the yellow cards.
So I was talking to Stoneman, and just talking to him about, hey, what's it been like this season? Obviously, you've played with Koke, you've played with Austin in the back, you played with Kempen. What was that like? And he just said, like, whoever's back there, we have to be able to play, and we have to be able to feel confident in who's there. And thankfully, Austin's had those minutes with that strong defensive line with Stoneman and Elijah, maybe Jack Martin. Who's Jack Martin? Jesus.
Jack Martin.
They switched to sides. Here I am acknowledging it, but like just I left my brain on that side. But what do you want to see in the back line, guys? We're waiting right now for, in a couple minutes, the lineup should be dropping. Nick Moon in the back, or just Metcalf go back again to give more familiarity to maybe Austin?
I think they're going to go Metcalf in the back today. I think they'll start him. They'll start Stoneman and one of the Kiwis. I don't know if they'll go with Boxall or if they'll go with Fernando. What was his name? Kyle Adams. There you go. Slips like, hey, my names are slipping today.
Yeah.
I think they go Elijah Martin on the left back. That's going to be the safest way, unless they rotate it. Would you guys like to see Boxall maybe getting a start today?
I would just be worried about the speed with the way that Las Vegas can attack. I think you put the quickest guys you can on the back line, and I think maybe that's why Jack Metcalf starts, to give the back line a little bit more solidity against what might be a pretty potent front two. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Moon gets a go on this one, because I think if you're San Diego, you say we want to pin them back so that way Trejo or Jennings or Chrysostomo don't get a chance to go forward that often. There you go. And so when...
Interesting that it happens now. Like, it's
Right.
just interesting to hear what time these, like,
Yeah.
warm-ups are. But in any case, I have to agree with you. Nick Moon is probably the way to go at this point, because there's a lot of...
Whoa. So every time I've vouched for Nick Moon as a right back, I got in.
I don't know. I think
you
this
guys
whole
have just been on
time-
me
No,
about
this whole-
Metcalf being the man. Now you guys are rooting for Nick Moon back there?
I think Nick
What
Moon
is
has
going
always-
on?
Nick
Not
Moon
you
has always been the
specifically,
guy.
Alan, but he has always put the narrative that I don't like Jack Metcalf just because I prefer Nick Moon.
So why
to be
don't
playing
you
right.
like Jack Metcalf?
I do like Jack Metcalf. I think his level's not where it was season 1. So that's why I think Nick Moon is the way to go. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Metcalf gets a start today. But again, this is an important game for them to win, being so close in points to what you say was 11th place.
Yeah, 11th place is 21 point. 11th
Yeah.
place, 21 points. San Diego's got 25, and there's like half the Western Conference has 25 points right now.
Pretty much, it's safe to say that the Western Conference is more competitive than the Eastern one, right?
I think it's been the case in the past couple seasons where top to bottom, the Western's been a lot stronger. When you got teams like Loudoun and, although what they did against Phoenix, Baby Bulls, Hartford has been struggling. There's a lot of teams that you can beat up on in the East, where in the West, like your two last place groups are Monterey Bay and Expansion Club and Orange County, right? Those are like the two last place teams in the West right now. And so this is what makes today dangerous, is a team like Vegas is not that far behind you, even though they sit in 11th place.
In the midfield, I think you got to go with Captain Charlie Adams for sure and Colin Martin at center mids, right? That's going to be the safest way to go. Colin and Charlie have already. I asked Charlie that last week, right? That how has that chemistry built up from season 1? And he just says they just know each other so well now that they know where each one of them is going to be. If somebody's messing up, they're not afraid to talk to each other and let them know, hey, you need to fix this, or just being there for each other. And that has been crucial in that midfield for San Diego Loyal. So I think they go with them. Charlie Adams, by the way, with the new haircut. So we'll see how it looks on the field.
The haircut or the kits? The kits haircut. It's going to be fresh out there, which at least with Charlie Adams. By the way, just that's. Yeah, no,
nice.
that's why I removed.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's fine.
Very nice.
Congratulations.
Although, are they going to sing the Black National Anthem today too?
I mean, that's the thing. You got to walk the walk. You're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk, and that would be who else does that? San Diego Loyal would say, we do this. A lot of activities, as Weston was saying earlier here, live. Now it's live now, not when you're listening or watching, but live from Torero Stadium. We're gonna have a great matchup. People should be here, especially it being Father's Day, a Sunday, a day game. Exciting because this is the marquee game for San Diego Loyal. This is the birthday for San Diego Loyal, essentially. So there's a lot riding on today, just San Diego wise, and I think that they have to get themselves a win, especially what they did last week, just destroying Hartford and showing that this team belongs at the top of the table. And this team, even if they have some players who aren't playing like we'd like, and I think I'll start with Jack Blake. Like, if Jack Blake can have some, semblance of the Jack Blake that we saw year one, even going into that end. I don't even know. When did the decline go for Jack Blake? When he got injured?
After the first injury.
Yeah.
I think it's just been a bad luck with a couple injuries, and he just hasn't been able to get back to his usual flow of the Jack Blake that we all know and love, that scored 2 bangers against Phoenix Rising here at Torero, right? So.
Yeah, but I think the thing that Jack Blake brings to the club now is just this idea of almost like a super sub. Some guy you're subbing on Jack Blake. Like most teams are, when they're subbing off a guy like Jack Blake, there's kind of a little bit of a drop off. But when you got a guy like Jack Blake on the bench ready to go, there's not a drop off. We see this with swapping out Among for Kyle Vassell up top. Or if they go together, then you put in Conway, or you have Tumi Moshabani coming on for Guido. You have guys that are depth guys that are starting on other clubs. And I think right now, I don't think there's any need to rush back Jack Blake. If he's a starter, great. If he's off the bench, great. He's going to give you a good 30 minutes off the bench, and he's going to be dangerous.
Do you think he's been as dangerous as he has been? Do you think at the time that he has been coming on, he's been effective and used that time well?
I mean, last game, he put in that blast of a shot that the keeper put a good save on. I think he's coming around, and that's one of the things is when you're out for so long and you don't get a preseason, you're not going to come onto the pitch at 100%, right? You got to work into it, and I think we're kind of seeing that happening with Jack Blake right now. At least I hope is that he's starting to come into form, right? And we see this over the course of a 34-game season. Some players are going to start hot and their form's going to dip. Some guys are going to start slow and build into the season. And you just got to hope that there's enough guys peaking at the right time to carry you through the season, and then everyone kind of playing their best at the end of the season. Although, to be frank, we don't need Jack Blake to be amazing right now. We're doing pretty well as it is, especially at home. We're one of the best home teams in the league. And so I think you can go with a typical, Guido and who else are you going to put up there?
Player that makes the big difference for San Diego Loyal right now, the difference maker, that if this player is not on the field, the team just kind of crumbles and it looks off. Who is that player right now?
I think defensively, you got to say Colin Martin. And I think offensively, right now, Tomas Among, I think is the guy that's been coming in and doing some damage. Yeah. Kyle Vassell's been great. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Kyle Vassell, but I think as far as right now an offensive difference maker, we saw his double, he just brings something different that allows Vassell to play, I think, the game he likes to play, where he holds up the ball, can play off. Thomas Amon can play off of him. He's got the pace on the outside. So I think right now, Martin and Among.
And I think to pick up back off of that is we've also had games where we don't see Among. We haven't had games where we're not seeing Kyle Vassell because he's been healthy. He's been ready to go every single game, which is great. So hopefully we don't get to see or get to a point where Kyle Vassell is out due to an injury. Hopefully he stays healthy the whole season. I don't want to see that happen. So I got to agree. Thomas Among is a big difference maker right now. Do you agree with that, Tony?
He definitely is, but I think that's kind of, in a sense, not even taken for granted, Kyle Vassell. But sometimes, you have to, what would we do? If Kyle Vassell was not on the lineup, what would we do? And it's good to think that we do have Tumi Moshabani, also the highest scorer of Loyal last season, and we still have that in the reserves. We still have him.
You have Conway as well that can play on top.
Yeah, I still have Evan Conway. But again, talking about Tumi Moshabani, what's his deal? I haven't seen him as productive this year. Obviously, there is a different flavor, different formation, a different look with Vassell, that he doesn't have to be that physical presence anymore, or just be that guy on the wing that runs everywhere into the middle, onto the side. But that's another positive, that you do have somebody like Moshe Bani who can bring that, especially later in the season. And it's an embarrassment of riches in a sense. And
I think his role has changed a lot from last season, obviously. Last season, I think the team relied on him a lot to be that person in the box. And now that you have Amang and Vassell, Tumi Moshomani can maybe play a different role where it's providing more assists or anything. He doesn't really need to worry about running into the box and maybe having to finish some plays. So, in a way, like you said, that is excellent, right? You have Tumi Moshomani and can play the position that he's mainly comfortable with, which is on the wings.
And I think Moshe Bani has suffered from the fact that Guido's had such a great first part of the season, where like you never want to leave him off. And so if it's Guido, Martin, and Adams are three of your midfield four, that doesn't leave a ton of room for Moshe Bani to get in there. If you want to build a guy like Conway in your system, and you have Vassell, and so I think right now Moshe Bani is, I don't want to say unfortunately, but he's, Guido's been playing so well that you can't leave him out. Whereas last season, Guido maybe wasn't as consistent as he is this year, isn't as deadly as he is this year, because he just has more space because the guys up top are pushing the defensive line back. So Guido's got more space to do Guido things with these one-touch passes and clips over the top and kicking the ball off the opponent to do kind of tiki-taka with the defenders. And I think you can't take that off the pitch. And so I think Toomey is the guy out in that situation. But again, what a depth do you have when your sub for Guido is Moshe Bani? Like that just means way more options, which is a problem for the coaching staff, but not a problem for us as fans who get to see all of these guys coming on the pitch, 12, 13, 14 guys deep.
If this was a team where, it's kind of great in a sense that there's more substitutions now, not just the three, player safety and whatnot, but there's a lot of players that, get that time, but not a lot of players that get the important game time, right? Like, there's the players and the team, essentially, that played against Galaxy. That's the team that, you think that's going to be who your number one go-to is. But at the end of the day, you have players that were injured leading up to it. And even other players, like, thinking about it, like, I have not seen Carlton on a lineup. And so,
We were talking about that, and I saw him in a picture of training. So he's still with the team.
Yes.
The team sometimes does that where they just cut players. Cruel from Xavier, he got cut, so he's not in the team anymore. So it's very interesting that. Do you like that, Alan? Do you like that the team sometimes just they cut players without maybe announcing it or doing like a press release about it?
I think it depends on the team and the player. He was brought in as kind of an emergency, right? Boxall was off on international duty. The back line was kind of hurting, and then we had some, red card shenanigans too. And so you got to find depth when you can find depth. And it's like, he was there as a stopgap. He wasn't there to compete in the whole season.
Yeah.
I believe, Hackworth has been on the bench and hasn't got a ton of time. I think we've seen Carlton on a couple 18s. He was at the beach cleanup this week. I saw him in a picture of that.
Okay.
So he's around, but you got to wonder how healthy he is without getting on the 18. Especially, it's like, the 18 is pretty deep, so either he's not doing well in practice or he's injured.
Oh, yeah. So it'll definitely be interesting. I don't think they've dropped the lineup just yet. They usually drop it like 30 minutes, 15 minutes right before the game. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we see Kyle Vassell on top. You got to see Vassell and Amang on top, right? Guido has to start. I think they're going to go all out, especially in this game. There's really wasn't a mid-game week. When's the next game after this one? I know they have a Wednesday game.
Let me pull that up.
They play Orange County on a Wednesday, right?
Their next game is June 25th at home, and then Orange County the 29th.
29th, that's a Wednesday game.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. So we're going to is our next game here at Torero as well?
Yes. Yeah. Against Indy 11, who has resurged as of late. Started out kind of rough, but it's the old El Paso Locomotive coach.
Yeah.
They have some players. Some of you might know, like they signed Solomon Asante from Phoenix. That's where he ended up.
That's right.
So that should be a really fun game.
Was Indy 11 the team where Nate Miller's also coming from, or
no,
what
that
team
was Indy 11 was Nick Moon came from Indy 11.
Okay, there we go.
But
So there's still some relationship there.
correct.
So, okay, it'll be interesting to see what the lineup is. Again, it's a summer at Torero Stadium, guys.
Sorry. It's,
you're good.
You know that's actually our friend Ed Stanfield.
Yes,
He's pretty much
YMCA.
Mr. YMCA. Like, he's our boss's boss. And fun fact about Ed Stanfield is that he's a fedora-loving, hat-wearing, lovable, guy, but an intense, like, out of nowhere, insane
He's a monster on the
goalkeeper.
field.
He's a monster goalkeeper with a
Monster
Costa
on the
Rica
field.
jersey. Like,
right.
he just doesn't give a single fuck about who you are on the field. He'll cuss you out. No, he won't. Let's not give it that.
Let's not get fired
let's
on
not
a
get fired.
podcast.
But yeah, so you're talking about Indy 11 coming up as
Yeah,
well.
no, I was just talking about upcoming matches and just about maybe on top who we'll see today. We're obviously going to probably see Kyle Vassell and Among on top with Guido right behind them. So it'll be very interesting to see what Nate and Landon drop today. Again, a summer here at Torero, Tony, plenty of games to watch. What's the game this summer that you guys are mainly looking for? I'm thinking maybe against Orange County for you, Alan.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the way they're playing right now, though, it might not be that enjoyable.
For them.
But I mean, I think the back-to-backs with Colorado are going to be interesting. July 4th and July 28th, or July 18th. Those should be a pretty fun matchup to watch. Colorado kind of running away with the West at this point.
We got to figure out what we're going to do with that Monday because that's usually when we do podcasts as well. So,
I mean, this looks great.
I mean, we could do this again. Like, I'm
If
down.
they let us.
And we saw the great, legendary, I don't want to say victim of Tony Sanchez, but Shannon McMillan walking by, and maybe we'll invite her formally, and she can come on by. I did see just the president, Ricardo
He's
Campos,
walking around somewhere over there. You can see that far?
I could sense him. It's that brother. He's just ever
You see
present.
shapes.
It's like an aura.
The last time we're gonna face Los Dos is coming up because
Also
they're
true.
going up to MLS next. That sounds
I
like
would say going down to MLS next.
going
Going
down. Going laterally, or down has to be a little bit down. So they're coming by later next month. So that's going to be interesting to see. Another team that historically we've done well against, maybe not this last time, but just shenanigans with referees. So Alan, like, what? You're the USL. How do you fix these refs?
Oh, whoa. Oh.
Well, I would say the same thing about refs as players is if they were amazing referees, they're not refereeing at this level. They're being pulled up. I mean, you even see with the NWSL, right? Like, they're, I would say, a step up from USL as far as priority for pro refs, although probably not that big of a step, to be honest, unfortunately, which they deserve to be. But the pro refs are grading refs, and if they're good, they're moving them to not USL, right? So you're getting young guys, you're getting inexperienced or experienced at this level. You're going to get some inconsistencies. I think the big complaint, especially from USL too, is player safety, right? So you're going to get some blown calls here and there, but as long as they're protecting the players, like, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't have VAR. They don't have a way of looking at it again. They got to see it live, and the game's so fast that you're going to miss some stuff, right? And, if you think about players, they miss passes, they miss shots, they miss sitters.
They're human.
Yeah. So it's fun to complain about them, but on the end of the day, like, the decision's already made. It's either a penalty, it's not a penalty. It's like, I would say we should follow the 24-hour rule. You can be mad about it for 24 hours, and then it's already happened. Complaining about it's not going to change the fact going forward. So be mad about it, and then.
So you're still
then
not
move
mad
on.
about the Los Dos game where they added like 20 minutes after the game?
Well, after what happened in San Antonio this past yesterday with 10 minutes of stoppage time, and then there was an injury in stoppage time, it went almost 11 minutes. I think at a certain point, like I get people want to see more game, but at what point are you again endangering the safety of the player by making them play 11, 12, 13 more minutes than you normally would? It's not good soccer at the end.
And that takes a toll. And professional players are pretty much, creatures of habit because they know how their body feels. They know what games are coming up. They know what training output that has to have. They work with professionals who tell them, all right, you need to run, no more than 4.2 miles, and then that's it. Your body cannot take anymore. Talking with Colin Martin, I think I said this right on the last episode where I saw him at the Wave game.
Yes.
Did I tell you that, Alan? Where I saw Colin Martin at the Wave game?
No.
Oh, okay. So I saw Colin Martin at the Wave game as he was getting a jersey and just for Pride Night along with Kaylin Sheridan. So he was kind of walking around in the I guess the Tory section here during Loyal games, and he just tapped me on the back and turned around, boom, it's yep, just like that.
Wow.
Colin Martin, and then just started talking about it. Hey, how's the body feeling? How are you doing? He said he's doing good. Just obviously got a little bit discombobulated. I'm like, really? Like, did that day that the Colorado Switchbacks game got canceled / postponed, what does that do? Obviously, you don't get those game minutes that you're essentially expecting to do. How are you recovering? And he actually said, no, it actually does throw you off a little bit, and a lot of it actually, because it's not game minutes. We have to do an intense training session, a very intense training session, which could potentially lead to injuries. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But on top of that, Colin Martin had a red card going into that game, so he didn't play that game. He got a red card the game before. That game I postponed, so essentially he was like, I essentially didn't play for 3 weeks, so I'm barely kind of getting into that rhythm now, and so that's honestly what we've seen. It's been translated on the field, and he's been playing much better last game and just getting incrementally back into match fitness. But same thing with Stoneman. Just I asked Stoneman, hey, how was that? What do you guys do? And there's a lot of intentional preparation, some rest that has to go down, and it's one of those things where, I mean, it is what it is, but this is, I don't think this would ever happen in the major leagues as far as, NFL, NBA. These types of situations don't happen in there. So the fact that it's allowed to be like this in soccer in the U.S. is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, you would think that the team does a good job about setting the bodies up to be prepared for a game, and they don't have the game. Now you have all this fitness stuff that you were expecting to do. Now you have to try to recreate that. And you talk to any professional athlete, there is zero type of things that can replicate a real live match, right? Because even in an intense training session, you're playing against your teammates. They're not going as hard as a competitor because they don't want to hurt you, they don't want to injure you, so they might not go as hard into a tackle. Which on the flip side that's also how it ends in injury, is when you try to do something purposefully pull back. Now you're putting your body in harm's way. So I just think, I think it's important to keep the games going, and that hiccup maybe cost them a little bit. But the way they played against Hartford, I think we're starting to see what Nate Miller and Landon Donovan want to do with this club, is get them in positions of dangerous attack. And then now, unlike last year, we just have more options to finish, right? And so I think that's what you're going to see against Vegas tonight. I think you're going to see them try and put Vegas under pressure, pin them back, make the pitch smaller toward their goal, and then kind of counter press, right? Vegas is going to try to counter, and they're going to have to press that counter and win the ball up the pitch. And we saw this if you watched Detroit City sack El Paso yesterday morning, the 9 o'clock one on ESPN. Detroit City did that a lot. They kind of played this man-on-man defense and really pressured El Paso and got a lot of high turnovers. I think you're going to see that from Loyal probably at the beginning as well, is just try to put Vegas under pressure and nip an early goal. And then that opens up the game so Vegas can't sit back. And then again, and that's when I think Loyal can take advantage of those spaces.
Yeah, again, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this game specifically, but yeah, missing 3 weeks of game time, it does take a toll on you. And like I said, you could tell. But other than that, I think San Diego Loyal are going to end up taking this game, guys. I don't think they lose today. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, they have to win this game just because of what it means to be that fortress that at one point San Diego Loyal has been here at home. Again, this is the marquee day in San Diego Loyal lore, essentially. 619 Day, Juneteenth Day, their birthday. It has a lot of good energy and positive vibes that are going to come from the stands, and that's what I asked the players. I love to ask them, like, hey, put into words those intangibles of what it is like to listen to the crowd cheering during the game, because you can reflect on, like, wow, they're great, but like during the game, what does that do to you? Like, what does it actually do to you? Elijah was just saying, like, yeah, like I feel boosted, like it's just like it's an extra oomph, and it gives me fitness, which is a good way of putting it. Like, it's not just like, oh, I got this extra adrenaline. Like, no, it just gives me fitness, and I can feel like I can give more, and that's what you see day in, day out in the players. And I think historically speaking, San Diego Loyal is just a better home team than an away team. Nothing wrong with that, but if that's what the case, then so let it be. I'd hate to be a mediocre home team and then pretty much a bad away team. Like, that's not the best.
So what you're saying is the home crowd. You're saying is the home crowd is like getting a bonus in a video game where, like, bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. It's the Mario mushroom, like during, especially in intense games when the match, because again, Torero lends itself to that. That's the good thing about this stadium. Essentially, one is that it's still a cozy little. It's still a cozy little nook of a stadium where if the crowd is really into it, they can influence because they're right on the action. And the sound usually travels one way. There's an open section over there, so everything it's a sound wall. And you're pretty in the know of sound walls, Alan. Is that a legitimate thing?
I think, especially the way some of the stands are set up, that it does feel. I think there were some really good quotes from San Diego Wave when they were talking about it, where you're kind of I forget what word they use. It wasn't like a coliseum. Like, you're in this like cavern, and everyone feels like they're on top of you. And so when you have games where you're starting to put pressure on the other team and the momentum shifting on the field, and then you have this like feeling of like the crowd is on top of you, I just think it adds a little bit of extra stress for the away players and adds a little bit of bonus for the home players, because now they feel like you're there right there pushing them. Yeah. And then especially I think when you're attacking the 109 as a home crowd, is the defense is being like pushed into this like the cavern of this side of the pitch where you have the fans on top of you from all three sides, and then the opposing side is pushing you in this way. I can understand why it's a little bit of a mental thing for away players to feel that pressure, like almost like a physical weight on them. And you gotta love. I'm curious to see if Snapdragon can recreate this, but I doubt it with the sunken field and how close everything is. It's gonna feel a little bit different, and I love this stadium.
Yeah, it just fits like a glove. If we can, maybe have this same stadium just copied and pasted somewhere else, and have it be owned by, the club or, essentially something like this. I think that's the ideal thing, because at this point, looking at the proposals, and not to get political, for the Midway District, I'm not feeling too confident about that.
But that's another story.
I mean, no. I mean, let's. I want to hear Alan's take. Actually, I want to put some controversy on here. Will San Diego Loyal move into Snapdragon?
I mean, it'd be dumb for them not to explore that as an option. I think the potential is there to have some elements of things that people and fans have been hankering for, right? You have the ability to tailgate. I'm not sure what smoke is going to be like, if smoke will be allowed at Snapdragon or not. But I think as far as the fan experience is concerned, there are a lot of positives to go to Snapdragon, especially people, San Diegans, who have been here for a while, who have been used to going to the Q or Jack Murphy or whatever you want to call that space. So I think there's a little bit of history that they can tap into, but I also understand that there's a lot of hard feelings with the way Soccer City went down with SDSU to have the team not engage with SDSU because they felt maybe that there's some animosity between SDSU and soccer. I mean, the benefit
is soccer.
is if everybody goes to the Snapdragon, that means you're number 2 here.
Yeah.
So I think that I think there's some tough decisions for the front office, and I think that there's some pros and cons for either way. Is my political answer that I like it here, but I understand that there's some fan experience issues that can be resolved by not having play in a soccer stadium on a college campus.
On a Catholic.
I don't think they should move to Snapdragon.
So what? Just stay here forever?
I think stay here for as long as you can and explore other options. Just based on the fact of the amount of people that come to a San Diego Loyal game, it's around at the most 4,000 people a game. If those 4,000 people go to Snapdragon, you're not gonna get more than that. Maybe a couple more just because the Snapdragon experience, but I think here at Torero, those 4,000 people just make a lot of noise. Where if you move over there, it's just gonna look empty and it's not gonna look pretty. It's not gonna feel, the atmosphere won't be the same. Again, that's my opinion. I feel like that could be the case. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that if they do move and the 4,000 people that are here go over there, they still sound just as loud.
Yeah, and even here, when the 4,000 people aren't here, when it's a midweek game and there's, 2,000, and you can really tell when those pockets of people are missing, and I shudder to think if they do move over there, like what's that going to look like? But one of the things that definitely is key is, at the end of the day, we have what we have now, and might as well enjoy it. It'd be really cool, obviously to have tailgates, to have those old school Jack Murphy Q style vibes, like to be able to take the trolley to a San Diego Loyal game and just get absolutely plastered. Again, that glass half full, glass half empty. There's water in the glass. Let's look at it that way. Alan, do you want to pick up your credential? Take a little break.
Sure, I'll see if it's there.
Yeah.
I'm down now. We gotta get the best.
Sounds good.
We gotta get some lemonade.
We gotta sell some fucking tickets.
All right, so we are back.
Unmute his.
Unmuted.
It's on. Perfect.
Yeah, we're good to go. How's it going? We have a special guest, Mr. Nick Duffy. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back.
Absolutely. So actually, if you don't mind, we're just going to run down the lineup.
Let's go.
Hot off the presses, literally just printed out.
Still not posted, by the way. So
still not posted, which is fine. So in goal, we have Austin Guerrero, we have Elijah Martin, Grant Stillman, Kyle Adams, and Nick Moon in the defensive positions. Charlie Adams, Capitan. Charlie Adams next to Colin Martin, along with Alejandro Guido. And interesting, we were just talking about him making a start. Number 7, Jack Blake.
Wow, okay.
Jack Blake making a start next, as well as Evan Conway and Thomas Among. I'm looking at the bench right now. Coque Vegas is on the bench. Jack Metcalf, Hackworth, Riley, Mojabani, Carlton, and Kyle Vassell on the bench.
Giving Kyle Vassell some rest. And we were just talking about it earlier. Let's see how the team performs without Kyle Vassell. We haven't had a chance to see San Diego Loyal without Kyle Vassell really starting or on the field or on the bench. So this is going to be very exciting. Jack Blake making the start. He's obviously going to be in that kind of like right mid position, transitioning to like a center attacking mid position. So, how do you guys feel about that lineup?
I'm excited to see the chemistry between Jack and Thomas.
Yeah.
Because with Vass up top with Thomas, those two have been working really well connecting. So I'm excited to see how other players will tie in with Thomas up top.
Yeah.
So I really like the way Thomas moves against the back line and draws players.
Yeah, especially, I think you can't start Kyle Vassell every match, right? And so you got to see what the team can do without him starting. And then, push comes to shove, you got a guy like that to pull off the bench. We talked about that earlier with the depth of the team right now is, Landon Donovan spoke about this earlier, right? Kyle Vassell wears the defense down, and then Among comes in and takes advantage. Now you have Among wearing down the defensive back lines. When Vassell comes on and he's not tired, he's just going to be beast mode out there and take it to Vegas. So, it'll be interesting to see the up top. I'm glad to see Jack Blake out there. We said if it's 30 minutes off the bench, great. If it's starting, great. It'll be interesting to see what the team looks like offensively. But I think that's why Nick Moon starts. If Jack Blake's not starting, I think maybe you don't start Nick Moon. But Nick Moon's going to give you that width on the outside and allow Blake to float in more centrally. And you still have that offensive firepower on the wings.
Yeah, you have that overlap going up the right side. I really like the Nick Moon runs from deep. It's interesting to see a more attacking-minded fullback because obviously he's a winger naturally. But he's been doing a good job holding it down on that right side. And
I think that does a lot with Stoneman just being kind of like what Stoneman is back there, right? And just being able to cover so much ground on that right side. So, again, Austin on goal. Last time he was here, he got 5 outscored on him. So like I've said before, this is going to be that statement match for him to say, you know what, I am your go-to guy if the number 1 guy's not available, or even I could be your number 1 guy. So I think this game is crucial for Austin Guerrero, and I'm very excited to see what the defense does in this game. By the way, for Las Vegas Lights, we have, let's see, Allen. Allen's the one that knows
Romero.
the names. Abraham Romero.
He was in Orange County last year, didn't get a ton of minutes, left because he wanted some more starting minutes. He's a competent USL keeper. Yeah, he's a pretty competent USL keeper. I wouldn't put him in the top, but still pretty good. Mohamed Traore, Alejandro Lara, Eddie Martinez, and Morton Borshaw. Borshaw and Traore are definitely names that are out there. Jamie Christopher, Danny Chrysostomo, we talked about him earlier, is kind of your captain in the midfield. Alvaro Quezada, and then you got Frank Daroma, Roberto Molina, and Cal Jennings up top. He's the guy we kind of had our mind on. And then the other guy to keep an eye on is Danny Trejo on the bench. He played 20, 30 minutes yesterday.
I've heard a few people were hoping that he wouldn't be in the lineup today, so that's interesting to see him there on the bench.
So he might get another run out after, a second half substitute. He is in the 18, which means that he can play. Not surprised he's on the bench. I thought that maybe they would run him out at the beginning for 60 minutes since it's not quite as intense at the beginning. But keep an eye on number 10, Danny Trejo. Maybe late in the game as a sub if it's close. He's the guy who's going to do some damage.
Well, keep an eye on number 9, Kyle Vassell, coming on in the second half as well to Las Vegas Lights.
True.
So I think Kyle Vassell comes in at around the 65th, 70th minute and still scores a banger, man. It's going to happen. I'm speaking into existence.
I mean, just as some people might be wondering, what was the exchange of money happening? We're actually giving away on a raffle a brand new third kit for San Diego Loyal. So, Nick, you are the lucky man as more donations have come by than
Nick
anybody.
donated $10. So
Yeah, no.
I want the jersey.
Yo, you want the
win.
jersey.
I'm here to win.
Careful. What's up, man? Pretty good.
Good.
Nice setup you guys got here.
No, appreciate it, man. We're doing a giveaway of the third kit for it's a opportunity drawing. Get tickets for $5. Rady Children's Hospital benefits from that, so that is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it's an interesting lineup without Vassell. It's gonna be a tough matchup, but again, it's a test for the team overall, and I think that's something that you can do with Las Vegas Lights is throw some different looks there. I know we're looking at the lineup. Does this starting 11 have enough firepower just to take it on their own?
Oh, yeah.
And take Vegas on?
Oh, yeah, I think for sure it does. You have key players like Charlie Adams, Colin Martin, Alejandro Guido on there. Again, if Jack Blake is able to step up and be the Jack Blake that was scoring bangers against Phoenix a couple seasons ago, it's just a great addition to the starting lineup. So,
especially with we talked about already with Nick Moon, he pulls guys out. It opens up the middle for Blake. If they try to cover Blake, it opens up the room on the outside for Nick Moon. And we already know Nick Moon is such a great one-on-one player that if they try to collapse toward the center, Nick Moon is going to eat them alive on the outside on the right. If they cover him, again, that opens up the middle for guys like Guido and Blake to do their magic. So it is kind of pick your poison with Vegas today, even without Kyle Vassell out there. Thomas Among, we've seen him score some pretty amazing goals, individual play even. And so there's just, it is pick your poison through the middle. You go right with Moon and Blake. Do you go left with, or do you if they shift over to the right to focus on those three guys, then you got Evan Conway, who's ready for a breakout game.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what we see with this lineup. I'm excited. It's a beautiful day here in San Diego. Beautiful game, beautiful day for some soccer. And again, Nick, sorry about New Zealand. Didn't want to mention it, but
I'm hoping I'm turning my luck around for this raffle.
Did you have a burrito? A good luck burrito?
That's what it was. I didn't have a
Did you really? Did you realize that right now?
Yeah.
You better
screwed
not
New Zealand
tell-
I'm sorry
You
to all
screwed
my
New
New
Zealand.
Zealanders. It was my fault.
Yeah, no,
It,
absolutely.
it kind of is,
The
man.
system was
I
working. and
can't believe. No,
oh,
see,
man.
here in America, we truly believe that. I was watching the World Series where the Cubs won it, and I think Game 7 or Game 6 actually, Rajai Davis came in the 9th inning and just tied it up, and it was a back-to-back extra innings because a friend came into the room and was like, "Oh, watch, they're gonna hit a home run right now." Boom, they did. We kicked this individual out of the room because win the World Series. Like there's no reason. So you're welcome, Chicago.
Yeah,
Nick,
I mean,
you've been here a while. Why are you here at 11 a.m.? What do you do?
At the stadium?
Yeah.
Pouring my passion into supporting the team. I like to.
So give us a snapshot of what that looks like for the locals.
For the locals, getting here at least 3 hours before the game, bringing a car full. I have my back seats folded down. My car was full of gear, flags, banners, drums. Getting people early on Father's Day to come down to the stadium.
Yes.
Hang up tifo, banners, set up in the sun. And then at the end of the game, it's not straight home, it's back down.
Back down to
Back
O'Brien's.
down, reload the cars, yeah. And
Props
then
to
off
you guys,
to
man.
the post game. So it's a full day, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
we were talking about it earlier. Props to you guys that come in early and just set everything up. It is a everyday thing for match days, right? Is it the same people, or do you guys kind of alternate and rotate on that?
A lot of it is the same people, but it's open to everyone, and we get quite a few people who want to experience a game day, the local style.
And then they say never mind for the next one, huh?
No, everyone's been really good and very helpful whenever I put out a call for volunteers. So it's just a way to give back to the team and show them our love.
We heard the tifo today is going to be something pretty special, so
Yeah.
we're looking forward to seeing that.
Preview?
Don't shake the tifo.
Don't shake it. Don't shake the tifo. But
If you want a preview, you have to go see Drew because that's not my area.
oh, okay. So you haven't seen it, or you saw it?
I saw it when I sent it up.
Oh, okay. Well, then get Drew over here.
We'll get Drew over here right now.
Put that call
All right,
out.
guys, I gotta go manage the march to the
You're
match.
good.
So,
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Go for it.
Tell
and,
people to come get the
let's
get a
go
free
loyal.
jersey, essentially.
I will. I'll go do some marketing.
All right, good.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Love
you,
it.
man.
Appreciate you, Nick.
Later, my guy.
Want to hop on? Come on down.
Hop
Come
on.
down. We have an extra mic. From the UT. Want to go ahead and introduce yourself
we're
and let
doing
everybody
good.
know?
Ivan Carter. I'm a freelance writer, San Diego based, and just what a beautiful day for soccer. I just watched Alex Morgan score 2 goals.
Yeah.
Wave.
Breaking
I know
her
my
personal
pocketbook
record.
is mad because
She
I'm
just
donating.
keeps-
I'm donating per goal for the Pride
Keep
Raiser.
scoring goals, man.
Yeah, no,
Incredible.
it's
10
just
goals so
crazy.
far in the season for her, so.
Incredible. She
Yeah.
just finds it. Like, she's one of those great athletes. I've seen them all, like, over the years, and they have that special ability to create space and freeze time long enough to make what they need to make happen.
Yeah.
And she's got it.
It's a 1 in a million type of talent here in San Diego. But is it your first time coming out to Thoreau for a San Diego Loyal match? How many games have you? Second time?
This season,
Nice.
and I have watched them. I've been able to follow them. I've written some stories. But, yeah, first time I've been able to actually get it for a day game, which is a nice setup. I like the sunshine in San Diego.
Yeah, I know you're probably excited to see Kyle Vassell as you talked to him before as well. He's starting
he's
from
on
the
the
bench.
bench.
He's probably going to get some playing time as well.
he
But are there any other players that you're maybe excited to just get to watch today?
Well, I'd be curious to see what Blake does because someone's going to have to be a striker, right? Or someone's going to have to create offense. To me, Blake would be the guy I'd be looking at. Like, can he step up in there, create some – there's going to be some scenes, some holes. Otherwise, I assume that Landon's going to play a little bit more from the back today, I would assume.
Yeah.
And then look for counters, look for opportunities. So, hey, it's a big day. Like, someone's going to get a chance here.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking about coming out of the back, right? Like, so you have Austin Guerrero, who's pretty good with his feet, but you had Coque Vegas, who is just world class in that department. Last time with the 5-2 with Austin Guerrero, I actually mentioned, like, man, I hope Austin doesn't try to overcompensate at this point.
Right.
And some of those chances, some of those looks that Louisville got were because it seemed like there was some overcompensating by Austin in that sense. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. But one of the things that I hope happens at the end is just a redemption for Austin Guerrero, because the last time he was here at Torero, 5 goals for any goalkeeper, I can tell you, it's
a tough one.
It's a tough one. It's
Hockey, soccer.
Yeah.
Like, if you give up 5, that's Usually you get pulled, right?
Yeah.
Or like in hockey, you get yanked after 4. But like those guys have to have short memories anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it happens. The best goalies in the world sometimes going to have that kind of day. It's just got to deal with it.
This is the game for him to prove it. Last week they had John Kempen on loan from DC United. They had to pull him back to DC United, so he gets to start today. So we saw Koke warming up. He's on the bench, I believe, so he's not going to get any playing time. But again, Austin Guerrero, this is the game for him to prove himself again.
But think about that redemption story, right? Like coming back from a game like that. But and to be honest, like we've all had bad days at the office, right?
It happens.
Their bad day at the office just happens to be in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
My bad day at the office is like 30, 40 kids in a classroom and they don't even know.
When you don't get to play a lot, you got to stew on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you get to go back out there, like, you know, in basketball and baseball, football, hockey, there's several games a week. And if you're starting tomorrow night, right? Sometimes a back-to-back. Sometimes it's, 2 days. He's had to sit there and kind of, like, train and practice and stew on it. So that's got to be psychologically difficult.
Oh, for sure. So
Yeah, no, that the goalkeeping position is just a unique one where, first of all, you are considered the crazy ones because you're the only dude that decides, oh, yeah, in a game with you use legs, I'm going to use my hands. So that's already there to begin with. But it's a very psychological, even Coque Vegas, who actually he has a goalkeeping academy back in Spain, and he focuses on that, a lot on the mental aspect of the game, especially for a goalkeeper, right? If you play your heart out and you let one goal in, you're still going to be like, oh, man, you let that one goal in. Or if you let a goal in and you lose because of that, it's on you for your one mistake. So it's a big reward, big risk, big reward type position. But I mean, I'm excited to see exactly what comes out.
I remember interviewing the keeper for England who let in he scored on himself against the U.S. in the World Cup. Green was his last name, right?
Yes.
Played in the EPL. And I remember talking to him like, imagine you're the keeper for England.
Yeah.
And you do that on the biggest stage
against the Yanks,
and you lose to the Yanks. Like psychologically, he had to bounce back from that and have a career. What was that like? And he was like, I got to live with it forever. I'll be the guy who did that. I accept that. But I still have to make a living. And I still got to perform.
I got a question for you. As part of the media landscape here in San Diego for soccer specifically too, like what do you feel like is needed more in this area? I've read some of your writings and they're fantastic. Maybe some of your contemporaries. I'm like, why are we talking about the Chargers in a wave discussion?
Right.
Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
So, what are things in the U.S. media for especially specifically soccer do you wish can change can
I'm
grow
47
from?
years old, and I've seen it explode. So when I started as a young journalist, I was at the Kansas City Star, and at the time they were called the Wizards, and they were playing in Arrowhead Stadium where the Chiefs play.
Yeah.
And there'd be 15,000 people in an 80,000 seat football stadium.
Yeah.
And 15,000 sounded like 200.
Yeah.
Then now look at them. They have their own park. That was unthinkable 30 years ago. And you look at some of what we're seeing around the country is soccer stadiums, soccer specific, cozy atmospheres. Yeah. I mean, the atmosphere we have here is perfect for it too, right? Yeah. But I think we've grown so much. It's exponentially. Football is football. Basketball is basketball. Hockey has a slice. Baseball is like the old man. Boxing has been overtaken by UFC, right? Yeah. Because boxing went pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They cut off their own nose to spite their face. When I was a kid, I was watching great boxing on free TV. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's not on ESPN, you got to pay for it, right? And they hurt themselves. So I think soccer has just grown so much in terms of carving out a space. Now, will it ever match the big dogs? Probably not. But we got to remember these little kids now that are growing up with a women's professional team.
Yeah.
We didn't have that. Like, that was unthinkable, right? So think about 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and a team like the Loyal San Diego probably should have an MLS team. Tijuana probably doesn't want that, and LA definitely doesn't want that, right? Yeah. We're like stuck in the middle. Same with NBA and NHL. The Ducks never won an NHL team down here, or the Kings, right? Because TV rights. Yeah. Same with the Lakers and the Clippers. So I don't know. Until someone gets really progressive, builds. Now we have that Snapdragon open up. That could be the end. But I personally, overall, I think this sport has just fantastically done the smart thing in terms of growth. We're seeing more and more American players explode, go on the scene. Kristen Pulisic, I'm a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
That was unthinkable.
Sorry to hear that.
I know, man. I mean, I was going to buy the team, guys. I was in the couch cushions for change. My name is Ivan. I'm Russian, but I'm not. I'm a black guy named Ivan. I was going to buy the team from Roman. And yo, Roman hooked me up. I got $25. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough. But yeah, so yeah. But who would have thought Krista Pulisic would be playing for one of the greatest teams in the world?
Yeah.
And so that
He
was
doesn't play for Liverpool.
I know. Oh, you're a Liverpoolian.
I hear what you're saying. I don't think you're wrong because I think I saw a tweet with the Angel City. It's like, my daughter will never know a world without this.
Exactly.
Like, you're just growing up in a much different landscape.
Right.
Like when I grew up, you played soccer because it was the cheapest thing to do.
Right.
Where I grew up, and so you just have something where you can run around. Like basketball, it takes a little bit more skill than, hey kid, kick the ball and just run around a field, right?
Man, I'll tell you what.
No, I just mean for like little kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
for like
I
little
played college
kids.
football and ran track, and I play basketball. You put a ball on my foot, and I'm lost, bro.
I mean, for like
It's a different game.
For kids who want, like parents who just want their kids to run around, it's a great sport for them because
And it's a lifelong sport. Like,
Correct.
you can stay in shape your whole life doing it. Like football, after college, I played flag football for years competitively, but there's a shelf life to that.
yeah.
But like soccer, basketball, tennis, I play a lot of tennis. I've gotten into boxing workouts lately to stay in shape. You can do certain things to stay in shape forever. And you can play soccer. If you're not a pro, you can play forever. So it makes sense to have kids, plus the foot-eye coordination. So important.
Yes.
What I was saying is, like, when I was growing up, you didn't have, like, it wasn't a professional game.
No.
Like, yeah, you had like Europe and you had South America,
I
but like
never
as
heard
little
of it.
kids, you're
Never
like,
heard of it.
there's no path for me to go pro because I don't have a team next door.
The '86 World Cup, when Maradona did what he did, was my introduction to the sport because I grew up in a place. We had the Minnesota Kicks of the outdoor league where Pele played back in the early '80s, late '70s. But it wasn't on TV. We didn't have teams. We didn't have cable. Remember, like so when the '86 World Cup came on and Maradona did what he did against England, I remember being like, "Whoa, that dude's bad."
Yeah.
Right. That was like Michael Jordan scoring 63 against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude,
You just know greatness. Like,
who is this guy?
Like
right?
when I watched some Gretzky
but then it
highlights, I'm like, oh yeah.
disappeared. You never saw it
Yeah.
until the World Cup would come around or whatever. So the sport has grown exponentially, and it's a beautiful thing.
No, and it's definitely going to keep growing with 2026 looming. Obviously, our goal is to make that World Cup with media credentials. So, now we know the destinations, the cities that the World Cup is going to be.
Qatar, you guys getting a hotel in Qatar?
I mean, no, not this one. Not this one. 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, not there yet.
So that's coming back to the States, right?
Yep, States, Canada, and Mexico.
The
Man, how
closest
nice.
one's LA. They're
Why
going to be
don't-
playing up in
Why
LA.
don't we have a stadium? Snapdragon.
Spano screwed us out of a World Cup.
Yeah.
Dean
Let's go.
Spano screwed us out of a World Cup and a couple of WrestleManias, if I'm being
That
quite
would
honest.
be great, man. Like San Diego, to me, is such an interesting city because you have the crossover, obviously with Mexico being right there, soccer, boxing, football. So many great players have come out of here, right? Basketball, Norman Powell, the NBA champion with the Raptors a couple years ago. We're really in a unique place that way. That we have the variety of sports. It's a good thing.
As
We have the locals passing by their march.
109 coming by on a day game in full force.
That might be our sign to kind of start wrapping up.
Yeah.
Game's about to start. We don't want to miss that. Again, thank you so much for
Yeah, guys.
joining us.
Absolutely.
I
Ivan
appreciate
Carter,
it.
Union Tribune. Read my article tomorrow. Send me an email if you don't like it.
Will do.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Be good, fellas.
Thank you.
All right, so I think in order to keep this kosher, we'll just do this on camera just to make sure everybody's on board.
Yeah, of course. All right, here we go. For the Siempre Leal kit,
Siempre
I want to
leal.
make sure I write these numbers so when I post about it, I make sure I have the numbers right. So let's go. Ready?
All right.
Here we go. For the Siempre Leal kit, we are going to have so many tickets in here. Let's go. We're going to go with ticket number 576006. Congratulations, 576006. You won the Siempre Leal kit by San Diego Loyal. 576006.
Love it.
For the home one, let's see, for the home one, here we go. It is Ticket 576030. 576030. You won the home jersey. The last one won the Siempre Leal kit. We'll be posting that on Instagram and Twitter, so you guys can come to us after the game or at halftime, and we'll give you guys the jerseys. Thank you so much. Chiva here, 2 balls on the mic. Tony, 2 balls on the mic. Alan from 2 balls, and Underwood, and the USL show signing out.